Hello everyone, and as always, thank you for joining me. For today's drawing, I will be using a fountain pen that I had in my collection for a couple of years now. I want to say 5 to 6 years or something like that, but to be honest, I don't remember exactly what year I purchased it. And to my surprise, these fountain pens can still be found online for purchase, especially on eBay. I did a quick search on eBay prior to recording this video, and apparently they still sell the 2018 model. I will make the assumption that that was the last time they made these fountain pens, and they can be found on eBay for around 18 to 20 Canadian dollars, which still make it actually a pretty decent price for a fountain pen that in my opinion has quite a lot to offer. This fountain pen is a piston filler fountain pen, and it actually has a locking mechanism compared with other piston fillers out there. Construction is fairly simple but well built from my perspective. Basically, the version that I have is completely transparent, or also called a demonstrator, and as I'm showing the pen, you can pretty much see every single part of the fountain pen moving, which kind of makes it a cool thing, I would say. One thing that I always liked about this fountain pen is how well the cap seals on the body of the pen. So well that, as you've seen me demonstrating it, if you create enough pressure inside the piston and then you release the knob, the air will actually push the piston back up, which that shows how well it seals, I guess. When I previously used this fountain pen, I never really had any issues with ink drying out, and this fountain pen, again, that's a testament to how well that cap seals. I don't know if all the models are like this or if they seal that well. However, on the copy that I have, the only copy that I have, everything seems to be working just fine. Removing the cap is very easy. You don't have to turn it a lot. Comes out very easily. And the fountain pen, it's quite slick in its build, and those threads on the barrel or the body of the pen, they're not really intrusive, or at least I have never found them annoying. This 618 version comes as a hooded nib fountain pen, which, again, if you're new here, hooded nib fountain pens tend to be one of my favorite fountain pens out there, because that's how my childhood started with fountain pens, using Hero fountain pens that were a copy of the Parker fountain pen that basically had the hooded nib. The barrel, if you're planning to take it apart to clean it, does not detach from the section. However, the section does detach from the pen. So if you're looking to clean that feed properly and make sure you don't have any stains, depending on the ink you are using, it is actually quite easy to take apart. There is an O-ring, and I will also recommend to put some silicone grease on the threads, but the section comes off very easily. At least the one on the copy that I have, the section doesn't seem it was glued to the body of the pen. The other thing that you can do is by actually removing the piston. There is a way to unscrew the top mechanism and remove it in order to clean the inside of the pen. I haven't demonstrated that in the video, but it's actually fairly easy. Nothing really particularly different from the piston fillers that you have coming from WingSung. You can actually turn it by hand if you have a good grip on the mechanism. The pen in itself has actually a really good balance. I like it, especially unposted. Seems to be a very neutral balance. You can post the pen. It actually posts very deep, and it doesn't sit on the knob for the piston filler mechanism. However, one odd thing is because of the construction of the cap or how it is and how those threads are on the cap, and how kind of a cigar shape the body of the pen is. The cap doesn't actually post perfectly straight on the pen. It is a little bit wonky. It will sit secure, but it won't maybe be aligned 100% with the body of the pen. You might have to fiddle a little bit with it to get it in the right position. However, when it is posted, the cap brings a little bit of back weight on the pen, so the balance shifts a little bit towards the top of the pen. And as I was balancing it, it's pretty much on the ring for the cap. Now for the ink for today, I decided to use the Waterman ink because I didn't want it to stain the pen. Acrylics can be stained if you're using an ink like platinum black, for example. And so far I've been using only gentle inks with this pen. As you've seen, it's still quite immaculate, even though I used it a couple of times. So like I was saying, I decided to use the Waterman Tender Purple in this fountain pen only because I kind of wanted to see some color inside the fountain pen. But like I said, at the same time, I wanted to make sure I use an ink that I know won't stain the pen. And also, low-key, I wanted to try this ink on this non-tone paper that I have and see how it reacts. Filling it up, no issues, everything worked out as it should. Fairly easy to fill with very minimum air gap. The piston works very nice and smooth. I'll be honest, I don't know if I ever disassemble it and added more silicone grease on it, or I can tell you that right now the way I have it set up, the piston works beautifully up and down, no hangs or dry spots that I can feel while operating the piston. And as you can see, it has quite a lot of ink capacity, probably more than I would need considering my little drawings and sketches that I do with it. On the writing part, everything worked out very well. The nib is actually very smooth, especially on the Muji paper that I'm using, and it's very wet. Actually more wet than I like it. For writing I think it's okay, but for drawing, as an odd thing, I didn't like it as much. Finish up with the writing part, like I said, everything worked out fine. Even when I was writing fast, there was absolutely no skip, and nib stayed just as wet. Now jumping into the drawing, even on this paper that tends to dry nibs and it's a little bit flaky, I think this is the first fountain pen that was able to stay just as wet without drying out or without giving me any issues by getting clogged by the fibers in this paper. And I liked it, but at the same time I kind of hated it because I wasn't able to build layers the usual way that I do it. So I kind of had to change my tactics a little bit and try and work even lighter than I used to work before. And I had to change position in the drawing to give a chance for the ink to dry out in order to come with a new layer. As such, unfortunately, I think I screw up two parts of the drawing. First of all, about the drawing today again, I did came with a little bit of plan. I had this vision of the eye, or better said, the eye shape, and kind of a trunk coming down, and that's where my vision of this creature ended. So I started with that, and then I just started to bring lines around that, and I end up with again a floating creature that has an elephant face or something similar to that, with human teeth, or at least I try to do something similar to human teeth, but they turn out weird. Anyway, going back to the fountain pen and the ink, because it was so wet and I didn't expect it to behave like this on this page because I got used with the other fountain pens to eventually start drying out on this paper and give me better chances to layer up the ink slowly. This one, after the third pass, it was pretty much starting to be dark. And as such, like I mentioned, I think I screwed up a little bit. The section area between the eyes at the top and the lower portion of the jaw, I guess, the way where it contacts the body of this creature. And as such, that kind of threw me off. And until the end of the drawing, basically, I was kind of chasing myself around, trying to balance the drawing somehow, and trying to, again, find a way to shade it. The problem is, after I was coming with a third pass on top of the layers that I already have, everything was just going dark. Truth to be told, this ink is actually a little bit darker the way it is. It doesn't allow as much layering up. However, I do notice that there is a difference between this non-tone paper and the tone paper that I'm using from the same seller. And I like this ink more on the tone paper, or at least how it behaves on that paper. On this one, it was getting soaking wet in some areas. Actually, like I said, I had to leave some parts for a longer period of time to give it a chance to dry out. As a fun thing, actually, I could sort of see some ghosting on the other side of the page as I was drawing. I think I do turn the page from time to time to show the reverse, and I don't know, since it's sped up, I don't know if you get to have a glimpse of that, but you do get to see a little bit of ghosting through on the other side of the page. So basically the fountain pen worked out amazingly well. Quite surprised by it. First time using it after maybe 2-3 years. It's been a while since I last used it, and I still love it. Still works perfectly fine. Proof that even a cheaper fountain pen can do a job quite very well. So if you are into hooded fountain pens, demonstrators, and piston fillers, I think this could check or tick your check boxes very well. If a perfectly transparent acrylic fountain pen is now really onto your liking, like I mentioned, you can still find a few versions out there on eBay at least, in different colors, still demonstrators, and very few solid colors. I believe there might be a black, a red, and maybe a white or a cream-like color. I don't remember exactly, but I do remember seeing a few solid color options as well. So in the end, while the drawing didn't really turn out as much as I would have liked it to be, I think it turned out still pretty interesting, and I kind of like the expression that I got out of this little creature. I do like that thing that I started with, a face with a kind of a trunk. The body kind of works, I guess, even though I didn't really have a plan for it. Almost looks like a turtle with an elephant's trunk and a dragon body that basically kind of floats in space or flies or whatever. Bottom line, lovely fountain pen, definitely recommended if you get a chance to play with it or buy one, or again, if you want one, try it out. You might actually like it. In the end, like I mentioned, I really had fun with it, and it will take me a while to finish the ink inside of it, but I will definitely enjoy it since it's such a lovely fountain pen. Anyway, I'm rambling again. You got my conclusion. Let me know what you think, or if you have this fountain pen and if you enjoy it or not. And I guess I will see you next time. I wish you all the best and nothing but a wonderful day or night, whatever you are. Take care. Bye.